Hey everyone, Tommy here, and this is my Iron Man suit. Yes, you heard that right, my Iron Man suit. I've been working on this on and off for a couple of months now, and it's finally in a state to where I can show you guys some progress. To start, these are Wash 3D's Mark III files. I personally chose the Mark III because it's actually my favorite Iron Man suit, but it's notoriously hard to do because of the proportions of the costume. Luckily, Wash made producing the suit as easy as possible, and the files look absolutely killer. So I guess we'll start off with what paints I'm using, and then we'll go over each part of the suit on this workbench one by one, talk about what still needs to be done to the suit, and maybe do a test fit. So these are the paints I ended up using for the Mark III. First and foremost, I am using the Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler primer. I know that this isn't really a paint. I've actually tried using the red oxide Duplicolor filler primer, and not only is it more expensive, I just don't like it as much. I can see why other people like it because it doesn't gunk up sandpaper as much, but for me, this really helps fill in all those layer lines. This is readily available. I get the stuff from Walmart. It's cheaper, it's higher build, it sands beautifully, and it's just what I ended up using. Next, everything gets a coat of gloss black as a base coat. This is Krylon Fusion. It covers very well, bonds to the plastic really nicely, and it doesn't really react to any other paints. Now for the Hot Rod Red, this is probably the color that you guys are most curious about. This is Duplicolor Perfect Match Medium Garnet Red Metallic. I get this stuff from AutoZone or Auto Parts or anywhere they sell car parts really. I basically bought all their stock of this stuff, and I'm probably gonna need to buy more online. This paint is great. Only thing is, it's kind of expensive. This is $16 a can, and I run through cans like crazy painting all these parts. But this is exactly the Hot Rod Red that I was looking for the suit. And of course for the gold, this is just Rust-Oleum gold. This seems to be the gold that everyone recommends using for their Iron Man suits because it can take the 1K clear coat really well. And I really like it. It dries really fast, bonds to the plastic really well, and it covers really nicely. Lastly, and the most important part, is the Duplicolor 1K clear coat. Stuff's amazing, albeit a little bit expensive. This costs $20 a can, but this covers beautifully and really gives the suit that gloss luster that I was looking for. Now let's start with the chest. Now Wash 3D actually split up the chest in multiple different pieces. So this pec is one piece, that pec is another piece, the clavicle is one piece, and this lower chest, upper abdomen piece is one part. And if you look here where this gunmetal is and where the silver bits are, there's this entire inner detail piece that acts as the frame for the entire chest piece. Now normally this is all made for motorization, but for me, I'm not actually gonna do any of the shoulder missiles or anything like that. The only thing motorized on the suit is gonna be the helmet. So all of this is essentially just taped and welded together. If you look on the back side, you can see all the buckles, you can see the magnets, and you can see the tape that's holding it together. Yeah, super simple. The arc reactor, I'm still figuring out what arc reactor to print. I think I'm gonna go with Neon Robotnik's arc reactor. That seems to be everyone's recommendation. I just need to make sure that's gonna fit in this socket here. But yeah, that's the chest piece, again, with the Duplicolor Medium Garnet Red Metallic and the 1K clear coat, and it looks absolutely killer. Now this is the ab plate, and the ab plate is fairly simple. It's just one piece, it's not articulated, so I don't have a whole lot of range of movement, but the way that Wash built this, he made it so that the proportions would work right. Actually, if you look here, a common problem with Mark III cosplays is that the ab plate subducts way too far into the chest, and it makes it look like you have no waist. But the way that Wash built this, he made it so that that wouldn't happen, so it really just sits right here, which is where it's supposed to go. But yeah, same deal, not much to talk about in terms of the ab plate itself. On the back, there are some buckles for where the front of the codpiece goes, as well as some Velcro for the sides and the back of the abs. But other than that, not really much else to show. All right, the thighs. So the thighs took a little while to print. Obviously, these are some of the biggest parts on the suit. And it also was a pain in the butt to sand these because there's just so much surface area to cover. But as you can see, I got the Rust-Oleum Gold on there with the 1K clear coat and the Hot Rod Medium Garnet Red from Duplicolor. It all looks really nice. I've already got some scratches on the inside of the suit from wearing it a little bit, but that just comes with wear. The way that Walsh built these, actually he made these come apart in two separate pieces. So you see where that seam is there? The front and the back would actually separate, and you would attach them by magnets. But for me, I wasn't able to find any magnets strong enough to hold them together as I was wearing it, so I just fiberglassed everything together. And that's something you're gonna notice about all my PLA welds. All my PLA welds are fiberglass on the inside. And the reason being is because I've heard stories of other cosplayers having their PLA welds, even though they've been really good welds and they penetrated the surface really well, they didn't really save it from snapping at that one weak point. So fiberglassing it ensures that I will never have to deal with that problem. So yeah, same thing with these. These are fiberglass shut, and I can just put my legs through them, no problem. I wear them as if I'm wearing pants. And they're actually not that uncomfortable, and there are buckles here for the harness system as well. As far as the biceps go, pretty simple. Just printed them all as one piece, put the hot rod red on them and the gold on them, and the clear coat. And that is pretty much it. They've taken a little bit of damage, some scratches there if you can look closely, just from wearing it and from it hitting the shoulder bells. That's to be expected. There is a buckle on the inside as well for the harness system. But yeah, not much to show. They look great. So this is the front of the cod piece, and it is printed in flexible PLA. If you've seen my tutorial on how to do flexible armor bits and how to paint them with BJB's TC90, this is the exact same process on this piece. So it just gives me a little bit of extra flexibility. There's buckles here to where they buckle into the front of the abs. But yeah, again, not much to show. I'm just glad that it's not solid PLA, it's got some give, and it's much less likely that it's gonna snap along here or along one of the sides here if not at convention. Now this abomination is the back of the abs, and these were done in EVA foam. And the reason why this was done in EVA foam is because the actual model for the back of the abs didn't fit me all the way. I have a bit too much of a gut, I suppose. And the waist on the Mark III, if you know what it looks like, is very, very small. So I redid these in EVA foam. I took the templates off of the 3D print using blue tape, and then just transferred it over to some foam, contact cemented everything together, and it came out really nice. Except I've been test fitting this quite a bit, and you can see all of the cracking and everything going on the part. Now I did use BJB's TC90 on this, but that's just to be expected. This is EVA foam. It's not really the easiest thing to paint in the world, as most people do know. I might remake this just to make it a little bit more pristine, just because it's been months since I made this and it's just cracking away. But when I wear it, no one really notices it. And it kind of gets stretched out, so all the wrinkling and all that kind of just goes away. So we'll see if this stays, but for right now, this is the back of the abs. So here's the back plate, and as you can see, it is quite dusty. I have not worked on this for quite some time. It's printed in 4 parts. I have an Elegoo Neptune 3 Max, and I could not get this to fit on the Max. This piece was just too large. So I cut it up in mesh mixer right down the middle and right across here. And as you can see, I got spot putty to help fill in some of those seams when I do end up sanding this. But yeah, not much to show. These hinges are where the hinge flaps are gonna go. So where all the ailerons and the wings, I guess you can call them, the back flaps, are all gonna go here. Those still need to be printed. And probably when those are printed is when I'm gonna start sanding this part and start doing the finishing work on it. But like I showed before, it's got the fiberglass on the inside. It's got a ton of buckles and magnets and everything to secure everything together with the harness and strapping system. It's really more for utility at the moment than it is for show. So a lot more work needs to be done on this, but that'll be the next step. Here are all of the shin and calf pieces. So again, Walsh made these so that these would be motorized. So this is the back of the calf, and that back flap would actually be able to open and actually show detail on the inside. That's part of his model. Again, I'm not going with that level of motorization. I only want the helmet to be motorized. I want to keep this suit as simple as possible and just make it look accurate. I'm not really going for a lot of mobility. I just want to be there, look cool, and have the helmet flip up. So these are all fiberglass together. You can barely see where my PLA weld is. If it can focus, there it goes. You can barely see where my PLA weld is, just along there, just make it a little bit easier to print. But I spent a lot of time filling and sanding those areas, making sure that you wouldn't see those seams. But of course, if you look on the back side, you can see the fiberglass. But yeah, not much to show. These were printed in different parts, so I cut this off. So this printed as a part, the top piece printed as a part, and this back flap printed as a part, and they all just got fiberglass welded together. These are the pieces that have been most freshly painted, so that's why they're so shiny and beautiful. I'm sure that some dust from the shop is gonna get on them, and I'll have to clean it off later, but yeah, these parts are done. I just need to do the kneecaps and do the flexible ankle flaps, and those will be secured by elastic, and then the lower legs should be done. And these are all the flexible bits. So you may have seen these hand pieces in my tutorial on how to paint flexible cosplay armor parts. Of course, these are flexible PLA, and they do flex, painted with the same paints, just with BJB's TC90 as a top coat. And those are all good and dandy. Gonna be printing the fingers probably last. That's the least of my concern at the moment, but these are all painted. And these are the neck pieces. So I just got the base coat of black airbrush paint on these, gonna put some TC90 as the base coat, and then hit it with the hot rod red, and then seal it with the TC90. So these should be just as flexible as those, and it'll have the same paint job. These are the shoulder bells. Really not looking forward to sanding these just because they're a complicated part and I don't want to get into all those nooks and crannies and such. But there are buckles in there, and yeah, not really much to write home about with that. And this is the harness system. Not much to say about this. It's very simple. As you can see here, that is a 3D printed crossbar buckle thing. I'm not sure what it's called. Other people print these for their strapping systems. It's basically for like suspenders or for like cross draw straps. And that just makes it so that the straps can cross over your shoulders. But yeah, it's just made with hot glue. There are buckles on the end of these. These go into the thighs. Those go into the back of the thighs, and these side buckles go into the biceps. So I guess all that's left to do is to test fit this stuff, right? Well guys, that is the entire suit put together. I actually can't put on the biceps by myself because I cannot reach over. So whenever I go to a con or anything like that, I'll have to have a handler who's gonna help shimmy like the arm pieces up and buckle them in. But regardless, this is everything I can get on by myself. Obviously I don't have the calf or the shin pieces on quite yet because those aren't strapped up, but I got the thighs on. Everything is pretty comfortable. The way that the chest and the back sits, I'm a little bit shorter than the actual model that this was made for. So I think that Walsh made this for like a 6-foot figure and I'm like 5'10". So the chest likes to kind of slouch a little bit on the abs. But if I stand up really straight and kind of like position it upward, then it looks proportional and exactly how I want it to look. I got big shoulders and a small waist, just like the Iron Man Mark III. So I am really happy with that. I got some rotational articulation right here, so I can like ab crunch and have a little bit of movement. But regardless, I can walk. Walking doesn't seem too terribly bad right now. I obviously need to get the calves and the shins done to see how my mobility is actually gonna be. But right now it doesn't seem too bad. I can't really walk up the stairs and I can't sit down, but that just kind of comes with the territory. But regardless, this is the suit as it kind of stands, full 360. Pretty happy with how everything's turning out. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you as always for watching my videos. It means a lot. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below. And I will see you all for part 2 later.